Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be going over entries, how I actually enter my trades. Now I'm not going to cover setups in this video. Let's assume we already have a sell or a buy setup and we are ready to just focus only on entries. We're going to use session timings and then closing price to time our entries. So the market closes at 5 p.m. EST, and here are the sessions we'll be using. I'm sure like most of you that are already familiar with our Stacisberg strategy, you know these timings. But for the benefit of those who doesn't, we have Asian session 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. EST, and we have London session 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. and then we have New York session 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Now the Asian session is generally an accumulation phase. It doesn't mean that you won't get a trade in Asian session, but I just don't trade Asian session. So I just wait for the Asian session to just play out before I start looking for my setup. Now I like to categorize my entries into three types. So I have type 1, type 2 and type 3. So let's go through them one by one. So for the type 1 is where I have the pullback after breakout. So for the type 1, let's say we have an existing sell setup. So we have our Asian session. So let's say this is our Asian session. Of course, we have our closing price. So price trades below our closing price. Let's say this is our closing price here, and this is our period separator. So we have price that trades below our closing price, and then during the London session I watch for price to break out of the Asian session range and then pull back. So you can have price trade within a range here, and this range is usually 25 to 50 pips, and then I expect price to break this Asian session and then pull back. So either during London or New York I expect this price to pull back and then gives me an entry. Now to avoid a fake breakout from this Asian session, I go to the 1 hour chart to ensure that there are a series of 1 hour candles that really close this below this our Asian session. This is how I avoid a fake breakout. So price after the 1 hour breakout, you can see price pulling back, and this is where you look for your entry. You can use your EMA to see where the price will pull back to. Sometimes price actually goes all the way to the low of this Asian session or to the middle range. Sometimes it doesn't get there, but you see price after breaking out of the Asian session, it pulls back, and then you look for either an engulfing candle, a pin, or other reversal signal candles you can see, and then you enter the trade after the candle has formed. So this is the type 1 here. You get a breakout, then a pump, coil and dump. And then for the type 2 type of entry, I call the high of session high of Asian session breakouts. Now this type is when there is a breakout of the high of Asian session, and this is our classic pump, coil and dump. So you have our Asian session here, we have our Asian session, and price breaks above the Asian session. This is our pump, and then this is our coil here. So what I do once market breakouts to confirm that our high has been locked in, I wait for a 1 hour engulfing candle. Now guys, this is the way I use it. You can still be on your 15 minutes time frame and then use your EMA to confirm the entry, but I wait for 1 hour candle to form an engulfing pattern, and then I drop down to my 15 minutes and wait for a pullback. So let's assume that after market has broken out of our Asian session, I wait for an engulfing pattern, and then once I get that hourly engulfing pattern, I drop back down to my 15 minutes and then wait for a pullback, and then market drops. Now for the type 3 type of entry, this is what the multi-session M or W pattern. So this type 3 type of entry is a 3-section setup, often forming a multi-session M or W pattern. So you can have sometimes London opens, you have an Asian range, and then London opens and doesn't really do anything, it just consolidates. So let's say this is our gap time. So London opens and price just consolidates within the high. This is for a sell setup. We see price consolidates within the high. So you can have Asian and London consolidate, and then New York opens and then consolidates a bit, have a breakout from that range, and then a pullback, and then you sell. So these are the 3 types. For the buy scenario, you can have, for the first one, you have your Asian range. So for the buy scenario, you can have Asian range, of course, our closing price. I have market, that's trades. So this is our Asian range here. So I gap time. They have price that breaks above our Asian range, and then when London opens, we can get a pullback, and then we get a pullback, and then market reverses and continue to buy. And then for the second one, you have Asian range here. You have price breaking below our Asian range. This is the dump. I have a coin and then pump. So let's go to the chart so I can show you examples. So on Tuesday, you can see our Asian section high here. Let's go to the 15 minutes so you can properly see this. So these are our sessions block here. So this is our Asian session here. So we had this breakout of our Asian session. You can see this is our Asian session here. Then we had a breakout of that Asian session during our gap time. Then we had London pullback and then gave us this engulfing pattern here. You can see this engulfing pattern here. This is where you enter your trade, and then this is where you enter and then took your trade. And then again we had on Wednesday, because this is our type 1 type of entry where you have the breakout of Asian session, a pullback and a sell. This is our type 1. We still had a type 1 type of entry on Wednesday too, at the breakout of our Asian session. You see the breakout of the Asian session. This is our Asian session here. You see the breakout during London, then the pullback during a London gap time, and then New York gave us the trade. See the engulfing pattern here, and then we entered. Now as you can see, on Thursday gave us the type 2 type of pattern. On Thursday we had a breakout of the Asian session high. So you can have the Asian session market broke out of it during gap time, and then London gave us the trade. After the breakout of the high of our Asian session, market gave us our trade on during London. After this railroad track here, could have entered here and then take the trade down. Now this is a type 2 type of entry. Now for the type 3 type, let's go to Aussie JPY. Usually this type 3 doesn't always present that often. So on Aussie JPY, okay, look at it here. We had the 3 session W here, so you can see we had the first green day on a Monday. Then on Tuesday we had price trade below the closing price. You can see price trade below the closing price, and then this was our Asian session here, and then price just consolidated, just ranged. Even during London, just ranged, and then we got this trade got our trade during our New York session. We got our trade during New York session here. We have entered this trade after this higher low was created. So we have entered here after this higher low was created, or this zone here. Over your chart and just study these types of entries. So I hope this video or this entry video is helpful. Just go and study it. You have to go over it several times to build your muscle memory. So guys, thank you for watching today, and I will see you in my next video.